already testified that you and Bradley made a plan together.
Correct.
And the plan was have him call in, have her know that he wants to talk to me, Susan, Ms. Tristan, and then see what she says and see what the response is. Right? That was the plan.
Correct.
So kind of like kicking an anthill and kind of seeing how the ants all scurry out of it and see what happens.
I don't recall what it was for, but I know it was just regarding Rodriguez Park and the response. But other than that, that's all I know.
Well, then here's what you also know, because you just heard yourself and the jury heard you on Friday. You know that with that plan in place, and after that conversation in the office, but regardless of who said it, in your mind, knowing that the most important thing you were going to do that day as part of this plan was to go to Ranger Freeman and tell Ranger Freeman how Michelle reacted to this. You knew that that was the thing that you were there to do, right?
Yes.
And when you got to Ranger Freeman and he said, "What did she say?" Regardless of who said what, in your mind, you believed at the time that Michelle wanted you to tell the truth, nobody did anything wrong, and that she didn't have anything to worry about.
I just said what was said as an overall, and I just let Ranger Freeman know that day. In regards to the truth, Anthony Castillo said those words. So I was letting him know everything that was going on inside.
Do you know that a confidential source is somebody who typically has done something wrong and is trying to do this in order to get out of trouble?
That's a misstatement what a confidential human source is.
Yeah, move along, sustain.
Your Honor, could you instruct the jury to disregard
the last question.
Well, okay, so you're wearing this device. You don't remember who suggested it. Did you suggest wearing a device?
No.
Okay. So one of them told you and asked you to wear a device and you said yes.
Yes.
Kelvin O'Neill,
Can you spell your last name?
O'Neil.
And what rank are you?
I'm a deputy constable.
Do you recall, and I know it's a long time ago, and you might not remember how many times, but do you recall how many times you worked Rodriguez Park while you were reserved?
I don't know the precise number.
Can you give a ballpark?
I would say probably about anywhere between 8 and 10.
8 and 10 times?
Mm-hmm.
During that time, were you ever paid?
No, ma'am.
Do you remember when you were reserve and when you stopped being a reserve and became full-time?
It says 6/4/18
To?
11/27/18.
Okay, so not June of 2019.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
And then you started full-time 11/27/18, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so, and I'm not saying that you were, it was a long time ago.
Yes, sir.
Sure, so, but looking at your official documentation, is you could say, well, I started as a reserve 6/4/2018, and I stopped being a reserve and started being full-time in November of 2018. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
What were the first steps, if you recall, that you took to begin the investigation looking into Rodriguez Park?
Well, we reviewed open source media, and then once we got the approval to investigate the case, we started issuing grand jury subpoenas to start gathering information.
During this phone conversation, was the constable satisfied with the explanation for clarification?
Yeah, she seemed to be satisfied. She just made the comment that there's not going to be much because myself and the chief deputy mostly work these events. The item that Susan Tristan gave me, last date of entry was June the 15th. On this one, there is an additional dates for June 22nd. There's another additional, but it does not have a date. There's yet another one that this date may be associated with it, 6/23. There's another one without a date, and there's another one without a date. Okay. So there looks like 5 new entries, starting with June 22nd.
During the course of your meeting with Susan and part of your investigation, what is your goal in this, in an investigation in general?
Get as much information as you can, find the facts.
And is it because you're seeking to file a charge on somebody, or is it because you're just trying to figure out what happened?
No, I mean, you issue these, you go into an investigation trying to find the facts. The innocent or guilt will fall as it may. It's just not the goal. The goal is to get every answer that you can.
In the use of these devices, is there an occasion where nothing is ever captured of any significance?
Yes, and specifically in this case.
From the state side, would we call somebody like her a confidential informant?
Yes,
And when you have somebody who's a confidential informant, do you go to efforts to keep their identity confidential?
right. You want to protect anybody that's cooperating with the state, so you do everything within your power to make sure they're kept in confidence.
Okay.
All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow at 10:30.
Thank you.